Is there really something brewing with the whole Luis Urias Suarez situation? During the All-Star game, there was that moment that caught a lot of attention, a bit of a scrum if you will, when someone asked Suarez about the possibility of a trade to the Yankees. And what did he say? He basically said that the Yankees are the Yankees. They are a team that wants to win, no doubt about it. Even though they went through some struggles last season, they still have that hunger. He said that if he were to go over there, he would give his best and try to help them win the World Series. Now, that answer got a lot of people wondering, is there something he knows that we don't? Something the Yankees front office is quietly working on. Suarez's tone seemed a bit different than what he said just a couple of weeks ago, when he wasn't so keen on getting traded. Now, suddenly, he's open to the idea of being a Yankee. That shift is pretty interesting, right? Looking at Suarez's numbers this season, he's having a solid offensive year. He's batting around .250, hitting 31 home runs, driving in 78 runs, and posting an OPS of .889 with an OPS plus of 142. Those numbers put him among the better offensive third basemen in the league. Defensively, he's not the absolute best at third base, but what he brings with the bat is exactly what the Yankees seem to be craving. Remember when there were rumors that the Yankees wanted to add a right-handed power bat to their lineup? Someone who could slot into third base and provide some serious thump. Suarez fits that profile perfectly. The only real question mark is his age. He's turning 34 soon, which means he's more of a short-term rental just for a couple of months before the trade deadline. So naturally, what the Diamondbacks will ask in return will be a big factor. And speaking of what the Yankees would need to give up, that's where things get tricky. There's talk that to land Suarez, the Yankees might have to include some of their top prospects like Spencer Jones or Kem Schlitzer. Now, I'm not thrilled about that idea. Spencer Jones, in particular, has been tearing it up in the minors. He's one of the hottest hitters in all of minor league baseball right now. The guy is hitting for power, has an OPS over 1.000, and is showing incredible consistency. Giving up a player like that is a huge gamble, especially since Jones represents a big piece of the Yankees' future. Unless the return is a true superstar who can make an immediate impact for years. Moving Jones doesn't feel right. And then there's Zach Gelif, who is also being mentioned as a potential piece in a trade, but Gelif's having a rough year and will become a free agent after the season, so his trade value isn't exactly sky high right now. It's complicated. Now, beyond the numbers and the potential players involved, there's something else that's making people speculate even more about this trade possibility. At the All-Star game, there was a commercial where Suarez was sitting in a booth, and Max Fried and Carlos Rodon were in theirs. Suarez waved at them, which might seem like nothing, just a casual greeting during a shoot. But with all the rumors swirling, fans have been reading into that moment as if it's some kind of subtle foreshadowing. Are the Yankees working behind the scenes? Are the PR folks just playing it cool? Or are they actually hinting at something bigger? It's hard to say. But the amount of smoke here is making it look like there's definitely a fire. If we look at the bigger picture, the Yankees really could use a bat like Suarez's right now. Their lineup could benefit from that kind of consistent power, and it's not just Suarez himself. It's what he represents. Adding a player with 31 home runs and a solid OPS in the .880 seconds could make a huge difference down the stretch, especially in a division and league where every run counts. And the playoff race is getting tighter by the day. The Yankees aren't just thinking about this year, either. They want to be competitive for the foreseeable future, but they also have to balance that with the realities of player aging and contracts. Suarez is at that age where it's uncertain how many productive years he has left. Signing him long-term could be risky, but if they can get him for the remainder of this season and maybe one more year, that might be a worthwhile gamble. One more thing to consider is the competition for Suarez. The Mariners have reportedly shown interest in bringing him back, which could turn this into a bidding war. If multiple teams are knocking on Arizona's door, the price will surely go up. And that could mean the Yankees might have to give up more of their promising prospects than they would like. Remember last year when the Padres traded 3 of their top 5 prospects for Tanner Scott, a reliever and essentially a 2-month rental? That was a king's ransom for a bullpen arm. Suarez isn't just a reliever, he's an everyday player. A middle-of-the-order bat, so the asking price could be even higher. That makes the front office's job much harder, figuring out how much they're willing to pay and what assets they're ready to part with. Still, even if the Yankees get Suarez, they're not done. There are questions about the bullpen and starting rotation that need to be addressed as well. They've been linked to free agents like David Robertson to shore up the bullpen. But the pitching staff is an ongoing concern. They might need to include some pitchers in a trade to balance the deal for Suarez. And that complicates things even more. It's a tricky balancing act between upgrading the offense and maintaining a strong pitching staff. At the end of the day, this whole Suarez to the Yankee story is full of question marks. But the signs are too strong to ignore. His changing attitude, the commercial at the All-Star game, the Yankees' history of making big moves close to the deadline. All of it points to something potentially happening. Whether it's just smoke or a real fire, only time will tell. But if Suarez does join the Yankees, they're adding one of the best defensive third basemen in baseball. A guy who can change the dynamic of their lineup in a heartbeat. But let's say the Yankees really are going all in on Suarez. Let's assume for a second that this isn't just noise, and that behind closed doors, talks between New York and Arizona are already underway. That's when the real questions begin. What kind of prospect package would it take to pull this off? Is it something like a one-for-one deal? Maybe Spencer Jones straight up for Suarez? Or are the Diamondbacks going to demand more than that? Perhaps a 2- or even 3-player deal with one top name and a couple of mid-level prospects added in? And that's where this gets a bit nerve-wracking for Yankee fans, because Spencer Jones isn't just any prospect. He's not a name you toss around lightly in trade talks. He's a 6'7" powerhouse with legitimate 5-tool upside. He's a guy who's been crushing it in AAA, launching home runs with ease, hitting for average, getting on base, and flashing the kind of skills that remind people of Aaron Judge's early minor league days. When you look at what he's doing, 23 home runs, offs over 1,000. A red-hot stretch where he's slugging like a monster. It's hard to ignore how valuable that is. And he's just 23 years old. That's the kind of piece you build your future around. So trading him? That's not just bold, it's borderline reckless unless the return is someone who's going to be a pillar of your team for years. And that's what makes Suarez a tricky target. Yes, he's mashing this year. Yes, his 31 home runs are among the league leaders. Yes, he's got a solid OPS that makes him one of the top offensive third basemen in baseball. But he's also 3rd of 4. You're not building a team around him. You're bringing him in to patch a hole, to make a postseason push, to add that missing ingredient to a lineup that's been inconsistent. So you really have to ask, is it worth mortgaging a part of your future for a 2-month rental? Even if Suarez loves the idea of being a Yankee, and he clearly does, judging by his recent comments, you still need to think long-term. That's where Yankees GM Brian Cashman and his team need to tread carefully. We've seen it before, teams that go all in at the deadline and end up regretting it down the road. You throw away a future all-star for a short-term gain, and if it doesn't lead to a ring, you're left empty-handed. Look at what happened with the Cubs and the Gleyber Torres for Aroldis Chapman deal. Sure, they got their title, but they also gave up a star second baseman in the process. And if the Yankees don't even get close to a championship with Suarez, how will they justify giving up someone like Spencer Jones? And let's not forget, the Diamondbacks know all of this. They're not going to just hand Suarez over for a song. They're going to milk every ounce of value out of him, especially if they sense that the Yankees are getting desperate, and desperation might just be setting in. The Yankees have had stretches this season where their offense looked flat, uninspired. Adding a bat like Suarez could give them that jolt, that boost of adrenaline they need to stay competitive down the stretch. But it comes at a cost, and everyone knows that. Arizona has the leverage right now. And if other teams like the Mariners are sniffing around, that leverage just increases. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. Could Giancarlo Stanton's era in New York be coming to an end? Rumors swirl around potential trade to the Seattle Mariners. In the ever-shifting landscape of Major League Baseball, whispers have begun to circulate that Giancarlo Stanton, the towering slugger of the New York Yankees, might be on the move. Sources close to the matter suggest that the Seattle Mariners have emerged as a surprising but intriguing destination for the star outfielder, sparking a flurry of speculation among fans and analysts alike. Could this be the end of an era for Stanton in pinstripes? Since joining the Yankees, Stanton has been a key offensive force, known for his prodigious power and ability to change the course of a game with one swing. However, his tenure in New York has not been without its challenges. including injury concerns and inconsistencies at the plate. Now, with the Mariners reportedly interested in acquiring the veteran slugger, many are wondering if the Yankees are ready to pivot their strategy and embrace a new direction. The Mariners, a team hungry for star power to complement their young core, would benefit immensely from adding a player of Stanton's caliber. His presence could provide a significant boost to their lineup, bringing experience and firepower that have been missing in Seattle for some time. For Stanton, a change of scenery might represent an opportunity to revitalize his career and play a central role on a team eager to compete in the fiercely contested American League West. Of course, nothing is set in stone. Trade negotiations in MLB are notoriously complex and fluid, often involving multiple players and prospects, and it remains to be seen what the final terms could look like. Yankees fans might be apprehensive about losing a fan favorite, but they also understand the business side of baseball and the need to adapt as the team evolves. Meanwhile, Mariners supporters are buzzing with excitement over the possibility of landing a marquee player who can instantly raise their team's profile. An offensive threat. The rumors have already ignited debates across sports media, with some questioning the financial implications, and others speculating on how Stanton's skill set fits into Seattle's long-term plans. As the trade deadline approaches, all eyes will be on both the Yankees and Mariners to see if these rumors materialize into a blockbuster deal. Could this move signal the end of Stanton's chapter in New York and the beginning of a new and thrilling era in Seattle? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: the MLB trade winds are stirring, and fans across the country are eager to see where the dust settles. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.